It's hard to believe that was actually 40 years ago. That was the assassination attempt on President Reagan. He was leaving a Washington hotel after giving a speech when John Hinckley Jr. shot him and 3 others. He was rushed to George Washington Hospital, which isn't far from where we are now, and received surgery on a collapsed lung. Joining us now to look back on that infamous moment in history is President Reagan's son and Newsmax contributor Michael Reagan. Michael, good to be with you. Unfortunately, to talk about such an unfortunate circumstance.
You know, it's interesting. When I take people on a tour of my dad's library and we go into that room where it shows that video, I tell them, I said, I'm not going to stop and watch the video. I mean, I just have this feeling, is he going to get up this time? And I walk right past him, show him the suit and tell him some of the other stories, but I still have trouble watching that video from 40 years ago today. But there's a great backstory to this, too. Jerry Parr, the agent, threw him in the back of the limousine, got him to the hospital, one of the ones that helped save his life that day. You know, he did that, but you have to go back to 1939. My father does a movie called The Code of the Secret Service. My father thought it was the worst movie ever made. He swore my sister Maureen.
Oh,
secrecy.
We're having a little tech.
That's how bad he thought the movie was.
I think we're having a little technical difficulty.
Oh, Michael, we're having a little difficulty.
Because of that movie, he became a Secret Service agent.
Wow, that's amazing. And that obviously, Jerry Parr played a significant role in keeping your father alive.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And it was that movie that my dad hated.
It's amazing. You look back on those moments, those little things, what we did, what we didn't do, what we saw. I mean, all have a big impact in who we become and the twists and turns in our lives. It's amazing that you can pin that back to that one movie. I'd never heard. I read Rawhide Down. I've watched movies about it. I've been to that library, the amazing library that you're talking about in honor of your father, and I never heard that story before.
Yeah, the docents love me coming by because they say, we know the stories that we're supposed to tell, but you want to be with Michael because he knows the backstories of the stories we're telling, and the backstories they in fact tell today. But the importance of that day is something else, too. Don't lose the history of a few months later, Pope John Paul being shot. And Pope John Paul, through an assassination attempt, you have the Protestant and the Catholic. And what happens is those two bullets form a bond between two people that ultimately go on to save Poland and bring down the Berlin Wall. It's that relationship that was built through the assassination attempts on both these world leaders. There's so much history to that one day that changed the world for all of us.
Wow. I also understand that your father was in good spirits, actually, after the incident, and he was joking around with some of the doctors at the hospital saying, I hope that you guys are all Republicans.
Yeah, forgot to duck.
Oh, yeah, but he's the same way with his kids. I walked in to see him with my wife, Colleen, and he looks at me and he says, Michael, if you're ever going to get shot, don't be wearing a new suit. I said, what? He said, well, yesterday I was shot. Yes, Dad, the world knows that. He says, but I was wearing a brand new suit I just gotten the day before. And he said, when I got to the hospital, they didn't let me undress. They actually cut that suit off of me. And the last time I saw that suit, it was shredded in the corner of the hospital room. So that's why I tell you, if you get shot, don't be wearing a new suit. And I said, well, I won't. He said, that young man Hinckley. I said, yes, John Hinckley. The man who shot me, yes. He said, do you think his parents have any money? I said, why? He says, well, they're in the oil business. I said, yes, and they live in Denver. They probably have money. Buy me a new suit. This is 6 hours after he comes off the table from almost dying.
Unbelievable. There's so many great stories, and I will tell you, having been to that library multiple times, it is so amazing, and you need to plan enough time. We had John Hybush on the show, the director of that, and it's where you really want to spend a lot of time. Obviously, getting the Michael Reagan tour beats the docents every time. I appreciate you being with us on such a momentous day and sharing with us these inside stories, because we can't forget not just that day, but as you put
if you ever come out, I'll take you on the tour.
That's worth the trip alone. Michael, thank you for being with us on this day. All right.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.